I'm Kim, the host of Club COCO Radio. I'm so grateful you're here and excited to have you join this journey with me. I started this podcast to create a space for honest conversation and stories that help us navigate life's ups and downs. Whether it is personal growth, career transitions, or just figuring out this crazy thing called life, at Club COCO Radio, we are here to keep it real. I'll be sitting down with inspiring women who share their journeys, lessons, and experiences with us. Together, we'll dive into the messy, beautiful process of becoming and learn how to face challenges with a little bit more confidence. If this podcast resonates with you, please hit follow and leave a review to help us grow this community. Whether this is your first episode or you've been with us from the start, thank you for being here. Let's dive in and get real. And today's episode is going to be really fun. And we have Audrey joining us. Audrey, better known as fourfeetnine, is a pioneer in Malaysia's digital space. People love her for her authenticity and witty content. As one of the country's first lifestyle bloggers and content creators, she has built a loyal following by sharing her relatable journey through life and parenting. Audrey is also a proud mom to Fighter and Penelope, and the founder of Parenting on Purpose, a workshop dedicated to helping parents build stronger relationships with kids. She's also the head of design and development at Colony, a co-working space that's redefining work environment in Malaysia. Balancing her roles as a blogger, entrepreneur, and mom, Audrey is here to share more about her journey with us. So today, we're going to dive into Audrey's journey and her parenting insights and how she juggles so many roles. So get ready to be inspired, guys. Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Kim. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for being here today. Because the introduction already shows how much you juggle. And yet, you still took your time to be with us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Like when you asked, I couldn't say no.
Thank you. So how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good actually. Yeah.
Good. I always say how are you? I'm good.
Yeah. No, I really mean it. I feel like compared to like the beginning of this year, I'm in a better place right now. So I'm like, I guess we can go deeper into it.
I am so happy to hear that, and that is such a nice way to end 2024 and to just seal it with I'm good, I'm in a much better place.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll dive a little bit more into that
we will.
later. You have such a unique journey, right? From blogging to content creation and to becoming a mom and entrepreneur. Like, can you tell us more about your journey and how you started it all?
I feel like I never know how to answer this question, So I think like how I've led most of my life is that I just fall into things.
Fall into things?
Yeah, like I just go, in a way it's like, I don't know whether, it sounds very dramatic to say that like I go where my heart leads me, but it's really like I just do things because I'm interested in them. Yeah, so I started blogging when I was like, this was 2004, 20 years ago.
Oh my God, exactly 20 years ago. How time flies.
Yeah, so I started blogging then. I was 19. I was going into university, but I went to school in the US. So like at that time, most of my friends were like going to school in like Australia. So I was like kind of like bumming around, nothing to do. Then I just started a blog because I was like very free at that time. I was waiting because the US, it starts in the school system starts in September, right?
Yeah.
And then Australia, I think, starts in January or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like for like about like 9 months, I had nothing to do. So then I started my blog then because I like writing. Like I've always liked writing and reading, and then I've always kept like a diary. When you're a kid, then you have the diary.
Yes, I had one too.
So that was like my thing, and then I kept going. So I started that blog. At that time, blogs were starting to come up. There was no such thing as social media yet.
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah, so then when I went to college, like my blog became a way for me to keep in touch with like people back home, like my friends, and then my family, like my parents were reading my blog.
Was it MySpace?
No, it was Blogspot.
Oh my God, Blogspot. Okay, I believe I had that too. Oh my God, yes, I think I had a blog when I was in high school.
Yeah, so it was just like a way to keep in touch. But then like I think because I was like blogging about my experiences overseas, like studying in college, and I was in a women's college, so it's quite different.
Oh, women's college.
It's a all women's college.
Wow, I've never even heard of that. What is it called?
It's called Mount Holyoke College. So it's the oldest, I think it's like the oldest women's college in the US.
Wow.
Yeah, so at that time, I think it was like there was Harvard and all that, but that time only men were allowed to go into these Ivy League universities. I don't know if you know.
I didn't know that. You mean women couldn't go to Harvard
so this
back
was like,
in...
18 something. So 19th century. Like that was when most of the universities was set up. So that time men, it was like segregated. So like women's colleges started as like a place for women to go to go to school.
Start the academic.
Because that time it was like, I guess like women's education was not a priority.
Oh my God, I'm just so happy to see how the world has progressed.
But I think it was a good thing though, like going to like a girls, they call it a women's college because I feel that there's a lot of like sexism still at play, like not just in the workplace but even in school. So like I think there was like research done where they said that like if like girls in like co-ed schools, right, like women in like co-ed universities, they tend to like kind of hold themselves back because of the men. And then there's there's a lot of like these kind of like gender politics. So like at women's colleges, right, like it's a place for women to be safe and really just like pursue what they want to do.
And everyone is equal.
Yeah.
You're not being belittled. You are not being disregarded because of your gender.
Yeah. But at first, like when I was there, I was like, oh shit, no boys.
Learning or dating? Okay.
So then I started. Then it became. I guess it went on from there. Then I came home. After I graduated, I came home and then I got a job in like digital in a media agency actually. So I was in media for a while, and then I was in like the digital team. That time they had like a designated digital team because like digital advertising was also very new.
Yeah.
But like it was a natural progression, I guess, because I was like a blogger. So it was something that I was already interested in. Then, so I was actually in media until I was around 30. So then until I got around 30, then I took a break. I took a step back because like I wanted to have kids. Yeah, so like it's a very stressful. It's a very stressful industry, like advertising. Like like a lot of late hours and all that.
100%. Like before COCO Dry, I was in advertising as well, so I can totally relate.
Yeah. So you know that life,
agency life.
Yeah. So then I was like, I wanted to take a step back because I knew that I wanted to conceive, like start having kids. Then I took a step back, but I was always still blogging. And then like when the new social media platforms came about, like I always just like adapted and just like took them on. So it was like Instagram and then Twitter. Then after that it was TikTok. Yeah, so when TikTok happened, it was like during COVID, I think, during MCO.
TikTok boom.
Yeah. So there was the TikTok boom. Then I was like, everyone's like nothing to do at home. Then you just get on it. Also, it was just like a fun platform. And at first I was like, I don't understand this platform. And then my kids were really into it. So then we started doing like TikToks as a family. Then it evolved from there. Yeah.
And I think that's why people resonate with you, because you've always been so real. Like even when I'm talking to you right now, I feel like who you are as a person is exactly who you are on social media.
Yeah, but there's a bad thing because sometimes I feel I have no filter.
No, I think that's how people resonate with you. And that's when they can relate to you because you're real.
Oh, thank you.
And it's like sometimes you will say things like WTF, LOL. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's so me as well.
It's like just talking, right? It's how you talk.
And just like no filter. And I just love the authenticity in you.
Thank you, but definitely I've gotten into trouble for that before.
Yeah, but how do you find the balance between being real and also not getting yourself into trouble? And what kind of trouble normally?
So I think sometimes I'm very vocal and I have this maybe like very, very strong sense of justice. Like if I see something wrong, I will call it out. So and that's, I mean, like you can say that's, on one hand, you can say that that's authentic, but on the other hand, it's like sometimes when I do that, I'm not really thinking. That I'm a bit thoughtless when I say these things. So sometimes I end up like offending people, or I end up like hurting people.
I see.
Yeah. So that's something that I feel like I'm still learning actually. Like, I feel that like I'm still working on it. I definitely think that there are certain things that I did maybe like even 5 years ago that I wouldn't do now. Yeah, but I feel like it's a process lah.
I think it's always a process
Yeah,
for us
it
to
is.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as we grow and as we make more mistakes, we learn from that.
Yeah.
But if you never make any mistakes, then
Yeah,
how are
that's
you
true,
going
that's
to grow?
true. Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or if I made a mistake and I still think that I'm right, you know.
But I think in the world of social media, no matter what you do, there will always be people who have something to say.
That's true, that's
and
true.
you really just can't please anybody.
Yeah.
Except to just be yourself.
Yeah. I used to get very affected by like haters and trolls, especially when I was younger. But now it's just like, like, you know, like on TikTok, you know, because when your videos go on TikTok,
Yeah.
it goes out to a lot of strangers. Like Instagram is like people who already kind of know you. And then, you know, TikTok is like,
Yes.
it blasts out to strangers, right? Then I always get this kind of comments on, they're just okay lah. Like last time I would be very reactive over it. But now I'm like zen.
Zen.
Yeah.
So what's the worst thing that people have said about you on social media? And then how did you recover from that?
So I think there was one. This was when like really long ago, like before social media, when I was still blogging days. There was that time. I think I just started dating Tim, because Tim was running Nafnang.
Yes.
Yeah, this was Nafnang days. So I think like so we just started dating, and then I think there were people like there was this hater lah, but it was this guy who already didn't like Tim. So it's just that when I started dating Tim, I just like went into his orbit. So it's like he also started like hitting on me. Then I think he just said something like, I'm a gold digger. Yeah.
That is so mean.
Yeah. So but like it was this particular guy, like I still remember his name. His name is Shadow Fox. So I don't know I don't know who he is. I think Tim knows kind of, but then like I've never met this guy. It's just that this guy lah. So but it didn't make sense because he would say that I'm a gold digger, but then he also said that because I was in media agency, and so like technically my agency is Nafnang's client, right? Like because Nafnang is like the supplier, right? So so he said that I'm a gold digger, but at the same time he also said that Tim is with me so that I can give him business. So I'm like, okay, which
It's
is
so
it?
contradicting.
Which is
Like,
it?
what do you mean?
Yeah, which is it? So is it me or is it Tim? Like, who is the one who's like gold digging? Yeah. So I remember that was one. A few maybe recently also there's this one person who always only shows up when there's this NGL app that like you can ask questions anonymously on.
Yes,
so because
yes.
it's completely anonymous, so that person only dares to like go on that app lah. I don't think that maybe because like Instagram I can still
Not
see who that
brave
profile
enough
is
to reveal him or
it's always
herself.
like that. It's always the anonymous one. So then this person he or she would like type in Malay. I don't think that they were Malay. They didn't really sound like, it's not native, not very fluent. But I don't know, maybe they were trying to disguise themselves or something. So they type Malay and then like call me all kinds of things but I can't really remember what it was. Just like nasty things, just like shooting all over the place, like trying to find something that hits.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
And
what
it doesn't
was
even
really.
bother you because you don't even remember.
Yeah, and I don't know this person. So then I also realized that if I don't know this person, like how much does this person's opinion actually matter? Like I have no, like I have no relationship with this person.
That is
Whatever
so
this person
true.
thinks does not affect me in any way. Yeah.
I don't even know this person. This person doesn't have any relationship with me, and why does his opinion matter?
Yeah.
I love that because the thing is, most often than not, we take so many opinions, feedbacks of other people so personally, and it impacts us. But the way you put it is almost like, I don't even know this person. This person's not even in my life. Why do I allow this person to affect how I feel? It's not worth it.
Yeah. So I call that maturity because I would be affected last time. Yeah, I would be very affected.
So how was the transition like from being really affected to not affected?
I don't know. I think it's just gradual. Like it's just like years because I've been doing this for 20 years. You think about it. Yeah. So it's just gradual. Like even maybe 10 years ago, I would still probably feel it a bit more. So it's like it's just like gradually less and less I care. Yeah, so maybe in another 20 years, if I'm still around, still doing this.
I'm sure you are. You're still so young.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like you mentioned that you're interested in a lot of things, and in your life, you just somehow like you don't really plan much, and you just somehow
So
say yes and flow into things.
Yeah, so basically like Colony, Tim was looking to start something together, and then I wasn't very keen because like I don't identify as an entrepreneur. Like I just didn't think that I had that personality or like that character for it. Yeah. So then, but like he wanted to start a co-working space, and then he asked me whether I could help him design the space because so one thing that's pretty good about him is that he's very good at identifying people's strengths and then putting them like in the right positions.
Yes.
Yeah. And also that time, I think I was kind of bored because I was like, that time Penny was 2. So like my kids were still like very young, and I was like doing social media stuff, but that was the only thing I was doing. So I was like kind of bored, I think. And like I was like kind of just like not always at home because taking care of kids. So I think he saw it lah. So I don't know whether there was a burnout. I'm not sure. Like looking back now, I think maybe I was also burnt out, taking care of kids. So he asked me to come on board and help him lor. Then I was like, okay, I'll just do it for like one project and then we'll see how. Because at the time we were also renovating our house. So I was like, okay, I'll just take on the renovation for our first colony. So then we did it, and then I turned out that like
it's
I liked it.
It's a permanent position now.
Yeah, it's a permanent position now. I liked it. I like the creative side of it, and like taking it all together, see it come together. Which I know you probably understand. You probably feel the same way. Yeah, then it turned to a permanent position, and it's something that suits me. So I realized that my career has always been actually more on the creative side, like
from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's always been creative. Like even though I didn't even think I was creative, like I was in science stream. Yeah. So I realized
you just never know, right?
Yeah.
Like where the universe brings you,
Yeah.
and you're just literally flowing with it.
Yeah, I was going to do like bioscience.
Wow.
Science.
And now I cannot imagine you in bioscience with like the science lab coat.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, because I think for a lot of younger people, right, it's always about like, what am I meant to do in life? They always feel lost. They'll always be like overthinking their next steps. And when it comes to you, you just kind of like say yes to things that just come. So what's the advice that you have for the younger listeners out there who feel very anxious about their future and what steps or what career path to choose?
I feel like, unless you want to go into a profession like doctor or lawyer or anything, right? I feel that like what you study in like university, for example, or even like your first job or whatever, like, I don't think that all that important, but I feel like what is important is what you learn out of each experience, because that all this learning, all these things that you learn and all your experiences are going to come together to make you, to make you the person that you are, and you're going to continue growing and learning. And if you have that kind of mindset, then I think that you can basically go into whatever you want. I don't feel like going into university and then like studying business means or marketing means you must always be in marketing. Like
yes, for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So in that way, like I don't think it's such a huge decision. Study. It is because like it's your degree, right? And you'll be like stuck studying for like 3 years or something. But I feel that like we can go where life takes us. That's my philosophy.
You can go where life takes us. And I think one thing that I really like about what you said is, it's not about the career path that you choose at the end of the day. It's about what you can learn from every experiences. And it's almost like, it reminds me of what Steve Jobs said, connecting the dots.
Oh, okay, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah, so it's very similar to what you just mentioned, like every single experiences that you've had in life, and then once you connect the dots, and somehow you just be like, oh, all these lessons and experiences that I've gone through is meant for you to do this in your life at this moment right now.
Oh, interesting. Makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, this is something that I also realized just very recently, because I was, maybe a few months ago, I was on a panel for like there's a US alumni organization where, they basically like it's for like alumni and like prospective students for the US. Then I was talking about this. Then only I realized that when I was like on the panel on stage, that it hit me that actually my career has been very creative based.
Yes.
Yeah, it led to this because I feel that like I also opened up myself to a lot of new things. Like I'm happy to try different things. Yeah, and I really just like follow my interest, and I didn't think too much about it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't think. Like maybe I'm just lucky, but I think it's because like I was open to try new things, and I was able to adapt and be flexible. I think that's what's more important than like having a fixed set of skills, because if you stop there, then you just stop, like your growth stops as a person.
And also just simply by following your interests, and sometimes it can be as simple as what your heart wants instead of like planning everything according to, I don't know, society, pressure, and how other people see you. But I think you're just connecting with yourself and asking yourself, you know, like, is this my path? Like, am I interested? And if you're interested, I think that is pretty much a go-to. And even though you're not interested in in the same thing 1 year later, I think it's completely fine because you have learned so much from it that brings you to the next chapter. Okay, so you've accomplished so much in so many areas, right? Like blogger, influencer, head of design and product development in Colony, parenting on purpose. How do you decide, or even a mom too, how do you decide what to focus on when everything just sounds important?
Honestly, I still struggle with this because like I really am interested in like everything.
Oh, 100%. Me too.
So there's so many things that I want to do. Like, you know, when you said that you're doing this podcast, I was like, wow, I want to do a podcast. Like,
yes,
every time I see someone say, I'm like, wow, I want to do that.
It's so fun. It's so interesting, and it's so refreshing as well.
So like there's a hard question for me. But I would say, I guess my priority will still always be my family. Like my kids. Grow, you know, my like raising my kids, I guess, and like my relationship with Tim. So like last year I launched parenting on purpose, right? But this year I took a step back from it. Like I still do talks and all, but I haven't like done like proper workshops this year because I felt that like because I'm juggling so many things that I felt like finally at that point there was one point where I was running the workshop. So we did it on Zoom. It was an online workshop. So I was running the workshop and it was going on for like 10 weeks. It was a 10-week program. So I was doing it, right? Then it was at night in the evening lah, because that's when most people, the moms are all free, right? Then my kids would come and like ask me things, and then it hit me that like I'm running this parenting workshop, but I don't have time for my kids.
How did that make you feel?
It made me like really think like, you know, like I wanted to do this parenting workshop because like I felt that like I wanted to help people. I wanted to help families. That was my whole intention when I did it. It wasn't about the mothers. It was actually really about the kids. Like I wanted to help the families and the kids. But then when I realized that, I was like, oh, like, you know, I'm giving myself here, but I don't have enough of myself to give to my kids, my own kids at this moment. So that's why I decided like I need to take a step back this year. Yeah, because I think like ultimately they are still my main priority. Yeah.
And it's almost like you're there for other mothers, other families, but you felt that at a point of time the connection between you and your family was impacted because it was taking too much of your time.
Yeah, it was the same thing when the kids were younger. I was also on YouTube. So I used to make vlogs, like family vlogs. And then like it was actually the same realization because it came to a point where I realized that I'm always behind the camera because I'm vlogging, right? But I'm not involved fully in the day-to-day, like with the kids. You know, I'm not interacting as much as I'm like capturing the interactions.
I get what you mean. It's almost like you're capturing it, but you're not present.
Yeah, I'm not present.
Them.
Yeah. So like I didn't want that. Like I felt that like if I kept doing it, it would eventually affect our relationship. And yeah, that's not what I wanted.
And it's amazing because you actually have such awareness in you. Do you reflect often when it comes to your daily life?
Now more, like within the last 1-2 years, but before that, not really. But it was like, I think before that, I was just very go on my intuition, like the flow thing.
Yes.
Yeah. The like very type B personality.
You're a very trusting person.
Yeah. I just go with the process and then I'll trust and then I will... Yeah, and then I trust that everyone is good, everyone has good intentions. I'm that kind of person.
I think we are very similar in that way.
Yeah.
Like the world is just like Winnie the Pooh walking on the street and everyone is good.
Yeah.
Everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, but even then, like even if somebody does something and they're sorry, they come and talk to me, I'll be okay also. And
you'll be forgiving.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why you're so bubbly, because you don't take things personally and you learn how to let go and just flow. Would you say so?
I think I'm like that to other people, but I'm not like that to myself. Yeah, so that's one thing that I realized. Like I always thought that I was forgiving, and I am. Like if it's like somebody I love, right? If it's a friend, if it's like my kids, if it's Tim, like no problem. But if it's to myself, I'm very hard on myself.
Why is that so?
Why is that? I don't know. It's just something that I realized this year, lor. So that's why I said, like, you know, when I said in the beginning, like I'm in a much better place. It was like because of a lot of things that I realized and a lot of things that I'm working on in my life. Yeah. So basically, like last year, I was like juggling all these things, parenting, emotional. At the end of the year, I was burnt out. Yeah, but I didn't know I was burnt out. I didn't realize just that like it got to a point where like I was just not happy. Yeah, even though everything was going well for me, like career wise, like Colony was doing well. It was like after MCO, so like things got back to normal because we were very affected.
Yes,
like
because
MCO.
it's a physical business.
Yeah, it's a physical business, so we were very affected by that. But like Colony was doing very well. My social media was also doing well. And I had launched this Parenting on Purpose, which was like my dream.
Yes.
Yeah, and like relationships, like friends, everything, like my family was good. Everything was good, but like I was just not happy. Yeah, and then it came to a point where I realized that like I would just be doing like stuff, you know, like removing makeup or something, and then for like whatever reason, I'll just start tearing, but I didn't know why. Like, I didn't even feel sad. So I was like, oh my god, is it depression?
What was your feeling when you started tearing, but you didn't feel sadness?
I guess I did, but I didn't know what I was sad about. Yeah, so like I knew that I was like feeling some kind of emotion, but I didn't know what is it, because like everything is good. Like I don't have any problems. There's nothing going on. Then I got worried as depression. Then I went.
You got what? Sorry.
I was worried that it was
depression.
depression.
You were worried that it was depression.
Yeah, because like I couldn't figure it out. So then I went to a doctor, a psychiatrist, who actually is Tim's doctor. So yeah, and then I went to her. Then she said it's not depression, but it's burnout. And then she also diagnosed me with ADHD. So I'm like, wow, what is this?
And you just found out that you have ADHD this year.
Yeah, like in January this year. So that's why, you know, like this year actually has been a roller coaster.
And that's the reason why you say you're in a better place in the month of December.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about burnout and depression, because most often time that not even for myself, you know, this year has been such a crazy year for me, and I don't know whether it is my pregnancy hormones. I also experienced the same thing as you. Like I woke up in the middle of the night once and I started tearing, and I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry. Like, what is this? You get what I mean? Because I've never felt that way. I've always, you know, like bubbly, positive,
and then keep going.
And keep going. No matter what, you know, there's a solution for everything. And it scares me too. So I just want to ask you, like, how did you differentiate the difference between, you know, like burning out or depression?
Okay, so what the doctor told me, like what the doctor told me was that like if I don't take care of this burnout, then it could lead to depression.
Okay.
So it's like
a warning sign in a way.
Yeah, and from like what I know about from Tim, because Tim has depression and anxiety, right? That he said that like when he's depressed, like it's not so much that you feel sad, but you feel numb. Like it's hard for you to feel anything, and you can't feel happiness. So it's like a state of like numbness rather than like just like sadness. But it's just that like so when you can't, so he couldn't feel like positive feel, like you cannot feel anything positive, so you can't feel joy, you don't feel happiness, and like it was just like for him it was so when you can't feel when you can't feel this positive emotions, right, the negative emotions get amplified. Like for me, I felt that like, okay, I don't think that's me, because I can still feel like I still feel happy, you know, when I'm with the kids and all that. I still feel happy. I just felt like I guess very tired and very anxious. So I think I had some anxiety as well, and then insomnia. So so I couldn't sleep. I've actually had insomnia for like 8 years already, but it's on and off. So maybe like for a few nights in a row, then after maybe for like 1-2 months it'll be okay, then it'll come again. But then like it was getting worse. So like the frequency, like it stretches on for longer. Like the periods of insomnia stretches on for longer, and then like the times between like each period was like getting shorter. And then I think that is related to anxiety, and anxiety is like it's also related to ADHD. Because
Your brain
is
just can't
hyperactive.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving. It's like on the go all the time. Okay, maybe if I were to go to the psychiatrist, I think I might be diagnosed with ADHD.
I mean, we can talk about this a little bit more, like if you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
I think it's also like realizing that you are burnt out. Because most often than not, it's like, I don't even know when I'm burnt out. Like, how do you really know that you're burnt out and you should do something about it?
I think it's, for me, I mean, I can't speak for other people, but for me, the burnout was like, I just felt like I didn't enjoy the things that I was doing anymore. Like normally I would, but then like I didn't enjoy it. And then I was also, I guess I was like, when it was hard to get to work, you feel very tired. I also felt very doubtful of myself. Like I started like doubting my abilities, like just myself as a person. Like, you know, my character. Like I started like overthinking these kind of things, and I think, I don't know whether that's really burnout, but I think it's connected to because I wasn't in a good place anymore. Yeah, so then like all these kind of thoughts came in, and the interesting thing is that, right, like burnout, I feel that, like, you know when you hear about burnout, it happens because like maybe you're doing too much, or like you're
Not getting enough rest.
yeah, you know, that kind of thing. But like I will go for breaks. I will go for holidays like for 1 week, and I'll come back, and then when I get back into it, I feel exactly the same. It's like I didn't rest at all. Yeah, so like what I learned is that like burnout is not just something that is easily fixed with like just like taking leave, or like, you know, like just taking a break. But I feel that for me, at least like personally, I feel that it was a mindset shift. Because and it's a mindset shift, and maybe it's a lifestyle shift also for like some people. Like, you know, if you are like working crazy hours and then you take a break, but then you come back and then you go back straight into like working those kind of hours, like nothing has changed. Yeah, nothing has changed. You just give yourself a pause, but then you went back into it. But for me, I felt that like my burnout, right, like I was handling a lot of things, which is true. And also like, because Colony, there was some very stressful projects going on at that time. So like everything added on together. But I think that for me, the bulk of my burnout became because like when things go wrong, I was very hard on myself.
Oh, it goes back to being hard on yourself.
Yeah, so that's why when I say it's a mindset shift, it was that long. Like I realized that like maybe I could have actually juggle all these things, but if I wasn't so harsh on myself, right, if I wasn't so unforgiving, I would be able to get past it and then keep going. But it came to a point where like that, and that's when I realized that, oh, actually I've always been very hard on myself because I'm a perfectionist, and that's not a good thing. Like, you know, when people say, oh, perfectionist is a good, like you know, oh, you're like a high achiever and all that, it's actually not. It's when you're a perfectionist, it's because you're so scared of making a mistake, because you're scared of being wrong. You're scared of like some kind of backlash, you know, where like people would judge you, or just not being good enough lah.
And I think when you really dive deep into it, it actually reflects on your deepest fear and your personal insecurity.
Yeah. Yes.
Of why you're a perfectionist.
Yeah. It's a self-esteem and a self-worth thing.
So you mentioned mindset shift is something that got you out of the burnout phase, and you're in a better place now. Am I right? But I think my question is, how did you even shift your mindset? What was the process like from feeling really burnt out to feeling how you're feeling right now?
So I went to, like, I think it was a lot of paying attention to my own inner thoughts. Yeah, you know, you asked me whether like am I that kind? That's why I said no. Actually, I'm not, because I'm just like, oh, you know, like just go along very happily. But so it took me really paying attention to my own thoughts. So, for example, like I would notice what the words that I use to myself. Like I think, I don't know whether everyone has that inner voice, but I do.
Yes.
This like, you know, this inner voice that you talk to in your head. Like really, when I really pay attention to this inner voice, then I realized that this inner voice is very mean. It's very mean to me, to myself. So, for example, when I was going through that burnout, then I spoke to our COO, our colony COO. So then she said, like, you know, why don't you just take a break? Like, and because I don't take breaks, like I go on holidays, I go on trips, but like I'm still working. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's very hard to switch off. So like I don't really actually switch off other than like going on trips or whatever. So then she asked me like, why don't you take a break, like take a like 2 weeks off. And then I realized, right, that when she said that, right, inside my head I was going, but then I'll be useless. So actually really paying attention to the words that I use on myself. And it I mean, I was diagnosed in January, so like it's been a while, like, of like changing that kind of habit of like, and paying attention and catching myself when I say these kind of things to myself.
So when you catch yourself saying, I am useless, what do you do next?
So for a while, I didn't know what to do next. Like, I'll catch myself. I was like so deep into it that I can't pull myself out. And I just felt like that voice was so strong, and I believed that voice so much that I couldn't, I'm aware it's there, but I just didn't know what to do about it. Then slowly, so I continued going for therapy with my doctor. And then I also tried hypnotherapy. I don't know whether...
Yes, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, I also tried, because for my insomnia. Then actually the hypnotherapist really, really, really helped in, like, for me to realize like the way that I really view myself. And then she taught me some techniques. So I'm like my own hype woman now. I like hype myself up.
I love that. Because you are the most accessible to yourself. You should be your own hype woman.
Yeah. So like, those journals that like ask you to like write what you're grateful for, 3 things you're grateful for every day. I don't do that, but like every night before I sleep now, like I'll tell myself, okay, like I'll go through my day, I'll look back on what I on my day, and I'll think about like what went well. Like what did I do a good job on today? So like really hard. So before I sleep, so she asked me to like before I sleep, I have to like hug myself, give myself a hug.
Oh, that's so cute. Like pat yourself on the shoulder, like you did so well today.
Yeah, and like you did enough today, you can rest now. Because I think because of that, that whole perfectionistic thing, right? I'll be very hard, like, and I was very hard on myself. So like I always feel that I'm not good enough. I have to do better. I have to do better again next time. So this is a very different way of looking at it. Also, I look at myself and then pat myself and I say, okay, you did this. This is a good job. You did this good today. These are the things that you did good today, and you've done enough for the day, so you can rest. I'll tell myself that. Now I'll sleep. And then it really worked on my insomnia.
Does that help you? Yeah, to sleep better.
So much.
I was about to ask.
Yeah. And
it stops you from overthinking, like what you should have done, what didn't go well. But it's almost like a nice chapter that you are closing.
Yeah, like
so
for
you
the
can
day.
go to bed peacefully.
Yeah, so I go through all the things that I achieved that day. Then I'll go to sleep, and then I'll tell myself, like you are enough. Like I'll tell myself, you're enough. You did a very good job today. And then you can sleep now, and you're safe. So I'll tell myself I'm safe also, because I think there was...
Do you say it out loud or you say it in your head?
I'll say it in my head lah. So Tim will be, because normally like we hold hands to sleep, like me and Tim.
Oh, that is so sweet.
So sometimes you'll be like reaching out for my hand, I was like, no, I cannot, I need to hug myself.
Let me hug myself, then you can hold my hand later. Self-love comes first. I love that, because affirmations and also practicing gratitude actually helps me get on with my life so much.
Yeah, I've seen your stories, like when you post about your journal. So I never really believed in the power of words until like this whole thing. Yeah,
because
so now I
sometimes
really
that's the only way for you to control your thoughts. Because when you see it, everything becomes intentional. Like when you see what are you grateful for today, it forces you to think beyond just like accomplishments. I'm so grateful that I get to have a podcast studio, for example. But it boils down to something as simple as, I'm so grateful that I have a morning cup of tea, and that's so nice. I'm so grateful that the sunlight is just so beautiful today. It just shifts your mentality first thing in the morning.
Yes, you're right. I heard a quote that said that like you can't be anxious, you can't have anxiety if you have gratefulness.
Yes.
Yeah, then I was like, oh shit. Oh, sorry. But it's so true, because like I used to be like before this whole anxiety burnout thing this year, right? Or it actually started last year lah. So before that, right, I used to like, I was very happy-go-lucky, and like my base happiness, right, is like normal. I feel like this is the average person, and then mine is here. So like I go through the day always very happy. Like when I wake up, I'll be like, oh, and then I'll find things like very tiny things to look forward to in the day. Like, and that was like my natural. Like nobody taught me. Like it was just how I was. But when I was anxious, I had zero of that. Like I couldn't find anything to be like excited about or happy about. And then like now that I'm like better, then I realized that came back. So actually, like, you know, I now when I think back that, oh, maybe I could have been more intentional about being grateful rather than like just waiting for it to come. Because like now I believe, like, you know, you can't have anxiety if you're grateful, like if you have gratefulness.
And you have to go through that journey yourself in order for you to share that experience with people.
Actually I've never really shared this very much on social media because I feel like I'm still wrapping my head. I'm also still like digesting this.
Everything that has happened. So you mentioned something about like you went for hypnotherapy, right? And you also mentioned one thing about like there were a lot of techniques that you actually used to help yourself get out of this situation. Is there any technique that you find that it is really useful for our listeners who are probably going through a burnout or in a very negative state of mind? Is there any techniques that you can share that has helped you personally?
I think that it was techniques wise, it was just really developing that self-awareness. I think that was what helped me the most. Like being aware of how I'm talking to myself and setting like an intention to be kind, to be kind to myself. Yeah, so like, you know, like just now you asked me before we started the podcast, you asked me the intention, right? So I do that also. So like, you know, every day, what am I committed to create? Yeah.
Every day you ask yourself, what am I committed to create today?
Yeah. So when I was driving here, I was thinking, like when I was looking through your questions, then I was like, I will. I knew that I wanted to create vulnerability. So when you asked me, I was like, I already have the answer.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that and being vulnerable, because I think that in a world where we always share about celebrations, it's very rare for us to be open and share about our vulnerability as well. And I think because of that, it adds up a lot of stress to many people out there that I have to be a certain way or do certain things in order for me to be happy, and everyone else is doing so well. I'm not doing well. But that's not true.
You don't know what we're all going through.
So thank you so much for sharing that. You literally just covered like the whole burnout and self-care topic. So I would also like to get into parenting and also your relationship with Tim, because you mentioned that, you know, in your life, how do you prioritize no matter what, your family and your relationship with Tim always come first, right? So you have built such a strong partnership with him over the years, and you guys hold hands to sleep even when you guys already have 2 children. And you know, a lot of times when children came into, I think it's me speaking from my personal experience, that it actually does change the dynamic in the family and my relationship with my husband as well. So when it comes to you, like, how do you guys do it?
I think that we've actually been through a lot, and like our relationship has really, really changed from, you know, like before married, when dating, to like when we first started having kids until now. I would say that we are actually the best. Our relationship is the best that we are ever up to now. We've been together since 2008. 2008.
Do the math.
A long time. And what I like about it is that like how much I think it evolved into a partnership. So in the beginning, I would say like when we were dating, because I'm very blur. I'm a very blur kind, and we have very different love languages. So Tim's love language is like acts of service, and acts of service and physical touch. And for me, it's quality time. So like for me, I don't need anything. Like you don't need to buy me gifts. Like that doesn't. I mean, it's nice, like it's a bonus.
It's nice to have.
But that doesn't make me feel loved. So like for me, what made me feel loved was like quality time. So we had this like mismatch. So in the beginning, he would, and also he's like a very type A kind of person. Like he's very, very kanchong, and then he's very efficient, so he gets everything done. So when we were dating, it was like he was doing everything because that's what that he thought that he had to do. So he also had his own growth in that aspect lah. But then so it became like he felt that it was a very imbalanced. It's a very imbalanced journey because he's like carrying, like he's doing everything. He's carrying lah, and then I'm just like following, drifting along, happy, and no need to do anything, not asking for anything, but also don't do anything. Then the balance shifted when we got married and had kids because like motherhood, right? So like naturally you have to take on more, and then it shifted to the other way, because Tim in our early years was a very like Thailandian.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So he at that time he saw like kids as like the mother's responsibility, as long as he like brings in, like earns the money, like he's like the breadwinner, and then like so he thought that his duty was, as long as he's providing me with driver, then his job is done.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's just to provide.
Yeah. So we actually went through a very rough patch in our marriage around that time, when the kids were maybe in preschool, like kindergarten time, preschool. I was very resentful. Because I felt that like sometimes it felt like I was a single mom.
You're doing everything on your own.
Yeah, like single mom with good alimony, like he's paying. But everything I'm doing, like, taking the kid, arranging everything, like managing, running the household, arranging everything with the kids, and then he just like plays with them. But I'm the one who's like doing everything, Then, so we were at a very, and then also there was the time we started Colony, and our working relationship in the beginning was also very rocky. Because like we have very different personalities. Like I told you, he's very type A. So
you're type B.
Yeah. So it was very difficult for me to work under him, because for him everything is like must be done. If I say something must be done now, whereas to me say like still got time what? There's the deadline. I'm working on it in my own time. Like there was a lot of this kind of conflict. So I think everything put together, then like our relationship was very bad back then. And at that point we also talked about like divorce already. It got to that point, it was pretty bad. This was in 2019.
Pandemic.
Yeah, pre-pandemic. Yeah, then in 2020, he was diagnosed with depression.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was, and 2020 was the year of, also the year of COVID. That was when the lockdowns first started.
In March.
Yeah, so he was diagnosed in January, and then COVID hit in March. But that was actually a turning point in our relationship, because that time, because he was diagnosed with depression, right? Then I suddenly could, like I was so resentful before that, but when he was diagnosed with depression, I suddenly could empathize with what he was going through. Like, oh shit, like, he's actually going through such a difficult time. And I could, because of that so that diagnosis was really good for us, because it made me realize that, there's a lot more things beyond just like the fights that we were having.
Yes,
but
he
like
has his own battle too.
Yeah, exactly. So then I at the point that I could open up. I could open up to him also and have the empathy for him. And then like MCO, we were both locked down, and I know that a lot of people get very annoyed with each other when they're all locked down together, but it actually worked for us, because we started to like spend more time together and like rebuild our relationship. Like, because we were friends before we started dating.
Yeah.
So we always had this foundation of friendship. So it's like we rebuilt that friendship.
The foundation of friendship.
Yeah, and then rebuilt that. And then like we were just hanging out together with the kids. That
is so
like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's almost like it reignites why you guys love each other and fell for each other at the very first place.
Yeah. So that was the like turning point of our relationship. And then from then like we just like really kept working at it. I mean, like relationships take work. Obviously, like you have to work at it to keep it going. So we worked at it. Then we also like, I think both of us really changed and grew from there. So we are very good partners now. Like, like marriage partners, and then like working partners. Like we know what our strengths are, what our flaws are, and like we complement each other. And we also, I think, don't expect anything from each other, which I think is quite unconventional.
Expectation.
Yeah. We don't like. It's a very big call to expect somebody to be your best friend, your lover, your partner
and like, responsibility.
yeah,
at
like
work,
you know, like everything, like
family.
this person, like, but I think that's a very big burden to put on somebody.
So you mentioned that you guys even talk about getting a divorce, and then MCO happened, and then that's when you guys spend more time together. But was there anything that you guys did differently that brought you guys closer during the MCO?
Yeah, so there were a couple of things. So on my side, like I started to have more empathy towards him, and on his side, Tim is naturally he's a very dominant character, and I'm not very dominant. I'm very like chin-chai and then like quite soft. So in the beginning of relationship when we were still dating, right, he was the dominant one. So whenever like we get into fights and then he just like, if he like raises his voice, then I would just like shut down because like I know that I'll never win because he's more strong-willed than me. So but when our relationship was bad, then I was very resentful. So I was very, very resentful over a lot of small things. So it was just like this bubbling, this emotion underneath that
Never came out.
yeah, influences everything in our relationship. Yeah, because it's always just stuck there. So actually before 2020, before 2019, our relationship was bad maybe for about 2 years. Before that, he was already trying to like not be so dominant and like basically like trying to he was trying to change also because that was one of the key issues. So he was trying to change. So whenever we have conflict, he will take a step back. He won't like fight, like keep fighting or like go all the way. But because he took a step back and because I was so resentful, right? Like if he took a step back, I would come even more. Like
And that's our chance to attack.
Because I never get a chance. Before this
to fight for yourself.
Yeah, so it all keep coming out, and then but credit to him, he just took it for 2 years, and I didn't realize that he changed for 2 years. So he really kept at it, like just taking shit from me for 2 years.
Give and take.
Yeah,
right, at the end of the day.
Yeah, so then it's like after 2 years, I finally realized that this is what's going on. Like he's actually he's actually changed. And then I also, then I also like, okay, there's no reason for me to fight anymore. Because I think all the while I was fighting because I felt that like I still had to fight.
And then when you realize that he's been taking it from you as well, and that's when you're like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
It's time for you to take a step back as well.
Yeah.
And that's when you guys
then I think the balance shifted. So like it was like there was always an imbalance, I feel, before
and
this.
then after that it became balanced.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest lesson that you have learned about love and partnership with Tim, like over all these years? Like that biggest lesson that you would just, share with our listener?
I think that like love is a choice. It's something that you choose every day.
Let it sink in for a while. Love is a choice.
Like every day, you have to wake up and choose to love this person. Whether this person is being difficult, whether this person is...
I get what you mean. It's not just about accepting the good in that person, but you still choose to love
and choosing
person.
to stay and work at it even when it's difficult, when things are like rough, when maybe like you don't feel like the butterflies anymore. Yeah.
I think that's something I'm learning as well because, transitioning into parenthood is definitely not easy because your world gets turned upside down.
Yeah.
Your values, your childhood, everything is just surfacing once again for you to work on and different parenting style and fights.
Yeah. And like really parenting is no joke, there's so much to do and so much mental space
that's why you created parenting on purpose at the first place, to help parents like me too. And also choosing to love the person every single day, no matter what happens and no matter how tough it is.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest lesson for me.
All right, and then like, how do you guys even draw the line between home and work? Because like me and my husband, we have a thing that I cannot work with you and I don't want to work with you. But how is it like for you and Tim?
It was also very hard in the first few years. I think it's like when you're at work, he's technically my boss. So it's a very different dynamic to the relationship than whereas when we're at home.
Are you the boss?
Like we're like equal partners, Yeah, and maybe I'm the boss, maybe I'm more the boss at home. Yeah, he always jokes that lah. But so it's a very different dynamic, and I also felt that he was harsher on me
At work.
compared to like our other colleagues, like our other team members, because I feel that maybe he feel like he doesn't want to be like looks like his favorite,
Like favoritism because you're his wife and he's nicer to you and you get special treatments.
Yeah. So but then he was harsher on me.
Wow.
So that also took like some time for us to like get used to. Then what worked for us is when we split our our roles entirely. So like he doesn't oversee me anymore. I just run my own thing. If anything, like I'll still like now we are okay already. So we talk about work and all that. But for one point, like he wasn't I didn't want him as my direct boss.
Because you don't want to report to him. I don't report to him. That's the reason why I don't want to work with my husband, because I don't want to report to him.
But we worked it out, and then I feel like we don't really have like we talk about work at home all the time. Yeah. But
do you ever switch off?
Yes, we do switch off from work. Maybe I switch off more than him. But like as in we talk about work at home, and I think it works for us because it's like one more thing that we have in common. Yeah, like it's just another thing that we're doing together.
Instead of like seeing it as a work and you should take that out of the topic altogether. But no, it's more of like something that we do together. The togetherness is there. Do you also involve your children
in work?
No, I mean like in work conversation, like what do you think? And
sometimes when if they're there, not like I won't intentionally involve them lah. But like we talk about it when they're there, then they will listen lah. But Fighter's more interested. Penny is like in her own world.
But I think it's also because of is Fighter elder or
He's older.
Penny? So that's why he has more realization.
No, he's just very capable. Like he's always interested in adult conversation.
Oh, that's so cute. Like he wants to be involved in the conversation.
He wants to know.
He wants to help too. So speaking of parenting, so like the reason why you started, parenting on purpose because of your personal experiences as well. So like, do you actually have plans to revive that next year?
I still want to do something, but then I don't know, because when I was doing it, right, I realized that I don't really enjoy teaching also. Yeah, but like I'm glad I did it, because if I didn't, I would never know.
And you will always wonder, how would it be like?
Yeah. Like I've like I told you, I thought about it for like a few years, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Then like I finally launched it last year. Then I realized that like I think I helped, but at the same time, it's not something that I really enjoy doing, and it's something that takes out a lot of my time. Because like it's not just about teaching; it's about preparing the whole course. Yeah, but I'm still interested, but I know that I'm very clear that my intention was always to help like families and to help children like grow up well. So like I might still go into something
that is related to parenting.
Yeah.
So when it comes to parenting, I think I'm just going to ask a few questions on that as well. So parenting comes in so many phases, right? From, like sleepless nights with a newborn to a toddler, and then to Penny and Fighter's age. So what were the most rewarding and challenging parts of each stage?
The baby stage, obviously, it was like the amount of labor, like physical labor, like feeding them, bathing them. But I think now that they're older, now they're like school age. It's called they are considered school age. The challenge is very different. So last time it was about like making sure that their needs are met, like their physical needs are met, that they are clean, that they are fed, they're full, the diapers are, everything, they're changed.
Things.
Yeah, and then, but now it's like, I feel like now it's like really raising them, like nurturing them emotionally, like working on their like emotional intelligence, their emotional regulation, and like really raising them to be like the people that they can be. Yeah, like because like their personalities come out, then you can see their preferences, their different personalities come out, and then like how do you raise them to be like the people, the best version of themselves?
How do you balance them becoming the best version of themselves and what you want them to be.
Yeah.
Does that come in sometimes? Because
Yes, so like it does, but I'm also very mindful of that because I think that is a mistake that many parents make, like our parents' generation definitely. Even now, like, we have these dreams for them. Like, you want them to play piano, you want them to like top student, like you have all these things for them. And it's because we love them and we want the best for them. But like we also, what's very more important, I feel, is that we have to consider about, is that really best for them? Or is that something that you want? And why do you want it? Is it because you love them? Is it because you want to be proud of them? Is it because it's something that you didn't get to do when you were young and it's an unfulfilled dream? Yeah. So it also goes very deep.
wow. And I just love how self-aware you are. Like every single thing that you do, you always go back and ask yourself like all these questions and then see what is the real intention behind it. And once you get there, the path and the decision that you make for your children are so much clearer, because if it is your unfulfilled dream, and you would know that it is unfair for you to like put it on them, right? But if you didn't realize that, you would just keep on pushing and pushing, and they might actually be unhappy.
Yeah. But I think it goes down to like my partnership with Tim, because there are certain things that I wanted for my kids, then but to him they're not, it's not important. So then it made me think like, why is it not important to him? Why is it important to me? And then that's when I started asking myself these questions. Yeah.
But do you think that your relationship with Tim plays a big role in their upbringing?
Yeah, definitely, because I feel like you have to be aligned with your partner, like when it comes to raising children, or else it's just going to be very difficult. Yeah, it's just like you can't have like one person saying one thing and then another person saying another thing. Like the kid's not going to know what to do. The kid's going to grow up very confused.
And how often do you guys align on this? Like a weekly reflection or checkpoint?
Not really. I think I guess like when things come up, then I'll talk to him. Usually I'll bring it out lah, because I'm still more hands-on, and I'm still like generally still more involved in the parenting. But we do have this thing that we call family meeting with the kids, where we try to do once a week.
Family
Yeah,
meeting?
so we have
everyone sits on the table and you have your agenda.
Yes, we have an agenda.
I love it. Like, tell me more.
So so in the family meeting, we will cover like updates, like family updates. So for example, like where are we going to go for holiday next? And then we might take a vote, that kind of thing. Like make decisions as a family. Yeah, so we do these things like updates, and then like if there's any decisions that need to be made as a family that will involve them, that I also want to hear their input. And then we also we do acknowledgements. So we will acknowledge each other for like this is something that you did, like something that I'm proud of you for doing this week, or like something that another family member did for us. Then you want to acknowledge that.
Oh, and it actually helps them to actually see the contribution of every single family member. It's not just about themselves, but they learn to appreciate more.
Yeah. So it's actually about, you're right, it's actually about contribution. Like, I want them to know that they contribute to this family in terms of like the decisions, like even up to the decision of like how much screen time they have. Like it's a discussion.
Oh.
Yeah. So like these kind of things.
So example, what if they say, okay, I want 6 hours, and you are like, no, 2 hours. How?
No, then they have to sell it to me, lor. Why do you think 6 hours?
My God, pitching starts as early as when you're in a household of entrepreneurs.
I don't know whether it's entrepreneurship, but like
like pitching ideas and like why, what's the reason behind it?
No, I just want them to learn how to think.
Yeah.
How to like argue and in a way get their way. But like I want them to think about why they want certain things also, and whether it makes sense, and like be able to form judgments.
Yes.
So it's about contribution, and it's about like getting them to like think critically.
Yes, like from such a young age.
Not that young, and they're quite big compared to your kids.
Yeah, but no, I love this, and I think that I'm going to do it in the future with like my 2 sons, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna apply that, and I think that I just love how you're involving them in decision making, because it's, I mean, like, growing up, it's always like you just do what your parents say.
Yes.
You never had a voice.
Yeah.
But in this case, you're giving them a voice. You're teaching them independence. You're teaching them how to think critically.
Yeah.
And they can bring these skills with them as they grow up. And I think that that's so, thoughtfully done at home.
Yeah. I just didn't want an authoritarian relationship with them, where like we tell them what to do and then they just have to follow and they don't understand like why we say why they have to do certain things or why they cannot do certain things. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us today.
You're welcome.
All right. So, okay, we're coming to an end of the podcast. I personally have enjoyed so much, especially, I would consider myself as a new parent and I'm going to have 2 by in 2 or 3 weeks time. So wish me luck. So looking back, is there any particular moment in your marriage or career that stands out as a turning point for your growth?
I think it's this year.
This year is like your year. You've been through so much and there was something that you went through that was so unexpected, and that it's almost like you're healing from it, and then you're ending this year in peace.
Like last year was the year of goals for me. So I set to launch my workshop, my parenting on purpose, and then I set like goals for me to hit for like social media. So this year is like really my year of healing. I think, and like
that's so beautiful.
Getting to know myself.
Because it's not just about chasing goals. It's also about focusing on yourself and healing and be brave enough to, be vulnerable and heal.
But I'm having fun. Like I think it's I'm having fun on this journey.
Especially now that you look back and then you look at how you have grown. As compared to like early this year and who you are now. And now you can laugh about it and you can share your stories to even more people, and knowing that it's okay, to burn out. Like it's okay to cry even you don't know what the reason is. And then you just pick yourself up from there.
But really thank you. I never like I told you, I've never actually shared about this so much. So really thank you for this.
No, thank you so much for being vulnerable. And like if you didn't open up, I wouldn't have done anything too. But you chose to open up. You chose to share. Like
thank you for the platform.
Oh my God, we just keep thanking each other. So thank you so much, Audrey, for being with us today. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Club COCO Radio. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did and found something meaningful and inspiring to take away. A big thank you to Audrey for sharing her time and experiences with us today. If you want to learn more about Audrey, you can find them at
on Instagram, I'm fourfeetnine, fourfeetnine, like all spelled out. On TikTok, I'm fourfeetnine also, but with the numbers, because fourfeetnine was taken
by who?
I don't know. I'm so angry. I was so upset. But it's number 4, and then feet, FEET, and then 9.
But it'd be cute if you could meet that person in real life, like, hey, fourfeetnine, I'm fourfeetnine too.
I think it's like, I don't know, like, I don't think she's Malaysian.
Well, you never know. One day your path may cross.
Then I can ask her back for it.
Let me know how it goes. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you love this episode, don't forget to follow, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need a little extra inspiration today. It really helps us to grow this community and keep this conversation going. Until next time, see you!